Did you know Barack Obama made more money after leaving the White House than he did as president? Barack Obama didn't just retire, he scaled up. Since leaving the White House, he's locked in record-breaking book deals, signed multi-million-dollar contracts with Netflix and Spotify, bought luxury homes coast to coast, and vacationed like royalty. His post-presidency life isn't just comfortable, it's elite. But behind all the headlines and dollar signs, there's a deeper story. Did Obama stumble into this fortune, or has he quietly built one of the most powerful personal brands in modern history? Let's break it all down. Now, if this already has you hooked, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. There's a lot more coming your way just like this. Real stories, real people, and the money moves that happen when the cameras stop rolling. How Obama made his fortune. So how does a former president go from politics to pulling in more cash than most Hollywood stars? Simple. Barack Obama didn't retire. He rebranded. After leaving office, Obama didn't just kick back and write a couple of speeches. He built an empire. He and Michelle launched Higher Ground Productions, a company that signed deals with Netflix and Spotify, and yes, they already bagged an Oscar. Not your typical retirement gig, right? But where does the real money come from? Speaking gigs? Absolutely. A single Obama speech can bring in over $400,000. Then there's the book deals. Between Dreams from My Father, The Audacity of Hope, and his 2-volume presidential memoir, the Obamas have earned over $65 million just from publishing. And don't forget the Obama Foundation, his nonprofit that's doing big things globally, but also helps keep his name front and center. Real estate? Yep. They've scooped up luxury properties in Washington, D.C. and Martha's Vineyard worth millions. Now here's the crazy part. His big break came way before the White House. Back in 2004, when hardly anyone outside Illinois knew his name, he stepped on stage at the Democratic National Convention and gave a speech that stopped time. That one moment turned Dreams from My Father from a forgotten book into a bestseller almost overnight. 500,000 copies flew off shelves within 2 years. Here's something a lot of people forget. Barack Obama didn't wait until he became president to start building wealth. By the time he was elected in 2008, he was already a millionaire. And it wasn't from politics, it was from his pen. Back in 2004, after his unforgettable speech at the Democratic National Convention, Obama didn't just become a national name, he became a publishing powerhouse. His first memoir, Dreams from My Father, took off, and then in 2006, The Audacity of Hope exploded in sales, bringing in millions more. And get this, when he announced his campaign for president in 2007, he made $3.3 million. That year alone, just from book royalties. So while his Senate salary sat at around $160,000 and his presidential paycheck hit $400,000 per year, the real money was coming from his writing. Between 2009 and 2017, the Obamas pulled in over $15.6 million in royalties, while still in office. And he wasn't just stacking cash, he gave back too. All post-tax profits from his 2010 children's book of Thee I Sing went to fund scholarships for kids of fallen and wounded soldiers. That's legacy-level stuff. But what about his family? Now, being president of the United States isn't exactly a 9-to-5 job. The pressure is nonstop, the schedule is brutal, and yet for Barack Obama, those 8 years in the White House didn't tear his family apart. They actually pulled them closer. In an exclusive interview with People magazine, both Barack and Michelle opened up about what life was really like behind those historic walls. And surprisingly, Michelle said, moving into the White House changed things for the better. It definitely brought us closer, she shared. Think about it. While the world saw the Obamas at state dinners and on global stages, inside they were carving out real family time. Dinners together. Movie nights. Long talks just down the hall. Living under constant scrutiny didn't break their bond, it solidified it. And maybe that's one of the lesser-known parts of Obama's legacy, not just what he accomplished politically, but how he managed to stay grounded as a dad and husband through all of it. By the time they walked out of the White House in 2017, the Obamas were worth about $12.2 million, and they were just getting started. So now, what have they been up to since then? The deals that took Obama from president to powerhouse. Here's the thing. Most ex-presidents fade quietly into foundation work and high-profile speeches. But Barack Obama, he became a cultural force. Just a few months after leaving the White House, Barack and Michelle dropped jaws across the publishing world with a $65 million joint book deal from Penguin Random House, the largest advance ever for a presidential couple. That alone could set them for life. But they didn't stop there. Michelle's Becoming didn't just sell well, it dominated. It was the best-selling book in America in 2018. Then came Barack's A Promised Land in 2020, which racked up nearly 3 million copies sold in just 1 year. That made it the top print title of the year, even in a pandemic when most people were doom-scrolling on their phones. And let's not ignore the elephant in the room. These weren't just books, they were reminders. For many, Obama's post-presidency success symbolized a contrast to what came after. As Literary Hub put it, his reading lists alone became a cultural touchstone, evidence that we used to have a thoughtful, curious, intelligent man leading this country. But that's not all. By 2017, Obama had already become one of the most in-demand speakers on the planet. That year alone, he reportedly pulled in $800,000 for just 2 speeches and over $2 million for 3 others. And that wasn't a one-time thing. Obama's speaking engagements have continued to rack up 7-figure payouts, sometimes raising eyebrows, but always raising his net worth. Then came the media empire. Barack and Michelle founded Higher Ground Productions and signed a Netflix deal that's rumored to be worth $50 million. Through that partnership, they've released hits like Waffles, plus Mochi, and Leave the World Behind. They didn't stop there. Renegades, Born in the USA, saw Barack team up with Bruce Springsteen on Spotify, and they've even got audiobook deals on Audible. These aren't just side gigs, they're long-term money machines. And behind the scenes, Obama's still collecting a $219,000 per year pension like all ex-presidents. He's also got diversified investments, mostly index funds and stocks, though he's steered clear of flashy corporate boards due to ethics rules. So when you add it all up, blockbuster books, Netflix millions, global speeches, and steady investments, Obama's not just doing fine. His net worth is now sitting comfortably in the tens of millions. But how much, to be exact? Wealth growth. When Barack and Michelle Obama left the White House in 2017, their net worth was estimated at around $12.2 million. Not exactly struggling, right? But today, that number has grown a lot. Now, you've probably seen wild headlines throwing around figures like $135 million, $250 million, or even calling Obama a billionaire. Sounds flashy, but let's be real. There's no hard proof backing those claims. According to Forbes, the real number is still way lower, though still very impressive. When you add it all up, the couple's income streams aren't just solid. They're diverse, smart, and still growing. So no, Obama might not be a billionaire. But if you're wondering whether he turned his post-presidency into a financial empire, the answer is a clear yes. So with all those millions coming in, is Obama just stashing cash, or is he living it up? Well, it's a little bit of both. Like most high earners, the Obamas have made some big purchases. Think real estate, luxury vacations, and investments. But they've also been smart about it. Most of their wealth is tied up in diversified stock portfolios and long-term assets, which means they've felt the same financial swings many investors have, especially after President Trump's dramatic Liberation Day tariffs in April 2025. That move rocked global markets. And yes, Obama called it out immediately. He warned about the economic fallout, but said what worried him more was the growing erosion of rights under the new administration. Now, here's something worth noting. Obama's finances are fully transparent. No offshore accounts, no shell games. Every dollar comes from public deals, book sales, media contracts, speaking gigs, and land holdings. As a former president, he's required to disclose his income, and everything checks out. So while the Obamas definitely spend and invest like people with serious money, they've done it in a way that's clean, documented, and largely shielded from scandal. And in today's world, that kind of financial clarity is almost a flex on its own. But how do they actually spend their millions? A life of luxury. Let's be honest, when Barack Obama left office, he didn't exactly move into a modest condo. The Obamas dove straight into a lifestyle most people only daydream about. First, the real estate game. In 2017, they dropped $8.1 million on a gorgeous estate in Calorama, Washington, D.C., just a short walk from the power corridors they once ran. But they didn't stop there. They still own their longtime Hyde Park home in Chicago, and in 2019, they bought an $11.75 million waterfront estate in Martha's Vineyard. That made Obama the first former president to actually own property on the vineyard. And remember the $50,000 a week Blue Heron farm they used to rent during summers? Yeah, this was the upgrade. Now let's talk vacations, because the Obamas do not travel light. Right after leaving the White House, they were spotted at Necker Island, Sir Richard Branson's private getaway, and at the Brando, a luxury resort in French Polynesia. They stayed at places like Borgo Finocchieto in Tuscany and the Bali Four Seasons, where rooms start at $2,000 a night. Oh, and yes, they've even cruised on David Geffen's super yacht, Rising Sun. And while they don't flash wealth with sports cars or over-the-top fashion, the overall vibe? Quiet luxury. Think formal gardens, top-tier security, private villas, and retreats that cost more per night than most people earn in a year. Even Fox News couldn't resist commenting on their seemingly endless tour of luxury retreats. So here's the question. Are they simply enjoying what they've earned? Or have the Obamas become the blueprint for how to live rich without flaunting it? And with so much wealth, reach, and quiet influence, do you think he's actually more powerful now than when he was president? Drop your take in the comments.